Alrighty, y'all, back to you with another video. Today we're going to be working on a 2014 GMC Savanna. We're going to be doing the water pump. Um, it's a very similar process for the trucks and the SUVs as well as for the vans. The only difference is obviously the compartment space or the engine space is a lot smaller. It's a lot more confined because the engine tends to be more underneath the vehicle, closer to the firewall than in the trucks and the SUVs. But it's a similar process apart from the engine bay area. For starters, obviously you got to remove these 10mm bolts that house the air filter, unplug your MAF filter, um, unmount your coolant reservoir, 10mm bolt line. Obviously have something to catch the fluid and make sure you're not leaking fluids all over the ground. We do not want to contaminate anything. We love the environment, right guys? So I'm going to go ahead and get started by doing all this, and then I will cut you back on. Alright, so the air box is unmounted. Now I'm going to show y'all how to unmount this, which is the reservoir. It's very simple. First of all, you want to just unhook your lines. It's that simple. These come out pretty simple. I've already loosened them up. This is just to show you guys, give y'all an idea. So simply loosen them up, remove them from their locations. Make sure they're facing upwards, so that way they're not leaking. You always want to make sure they're not leaking, guys. We don't want to contaminate or pollute anything. Just simply slide this one off. I have a 10mm bolt. Like I said, it's already taken off. I'm just doing this to show y'all. Once you take this bolt off, you can slide this whole thing. It just inserts in here into the firewall. So once you remove that bolt, remove the hoses, it just slides right out. And then for your intake tubing, it's simply a 8mm here, 8mm in the back here by the alternator. Simply loosen that up and that slides right off. And then that gives you access to everything that you got here. So now, like I said, we're going to have to remove the fan shroud, which is next. And then we should be able to access the fan itself because this has a mechanical fan. It's not electric fans. So we'll be able to access the fan, and then we'll be able to access the water pump. Alrighty, y'all. So we got the reservoir out of the way, and we're ready to unmount the housing. We had to get the radiator hose off. Obviously, it's an 8mm clamp on this side for my application. And then you have the other little clamps that you need some pliers for on this side. But once you remove that hose, then you have to come and remove the fan shroud. So you have 4 10mm bolts. Well, it should be 6, but in this case I only have 5. I have a broken one over here on this side. I don't know if y'all can see that by the radiator. So you just got to remove those, and then you're able to remove the fan shroud. But like I said, you have to remove the hose for the water pump and that goes to the radiator before you do that. Alrighty, y'all. So got the shroud off. That was very easy. Now getting the fan clutch off, that was a mission. I'm not gonna lie to you. The best way I found to do it, obviously, I've always left the belt on. I was struggling to get this off. Like I said, it was spinning. I was having a hard time. So I took a pry bar and I managed to get the pry bar behind the water pump up here at the top, in between this the idler pulley and the water pump. There's a very small gap right behind the water pump. So I was able to stick the pry bar in there. Once I got the pry bar in there, I just used a crescent wrench. I know they got special tools for this, because you do not want to strip that nut. But I just use this 10-inch cobalt crescent wrench. I had to get up in there. I'm not going to lie to you. I had to push on the pry bar to get the pry bar to push on the pulley outwards to put tension on it. And after I did that, I got up in there and I was able to break it free. It did take me a little while. I'm not going to lie to you. Probably took me like a good 10-15 minutes. But we got the fan off. Like I said, it's just on there momentarily. So this is the water pump right here. As you can tell. Now you have 6 bolts. You have 3 on this side and you have 3 on this side. You got 1, 2, and 3. Same thing on the other side. So what I like to do is I like to break them all free before I pull any one side off. You never want to just pull one side off, because over time, in heat cycles, because this is cast aluminum, things tend to warp. So you do not want to release all the pressure off of one side, because then when you go to take the other side off, you might have a lot of tension on the bolts, and then you can break things, and that's what we do not want to do. So I'm going to go and I'm going to break them all loose, break all 6 of the bolts loose before I do anything else. And then I will cut you guys back on when I got it off. Alrighty, so the clutch is off, and we're gonna remove the belt now. Obviously you got a 15 millimeter bolt on the tensioner, so just simply remove the tensioner, release the belt. But before you do this, I would suggest that you do take a picture of the belt and the way it is assembled, so you have something to reference off of, because a lot of people tend to take the belt off and then they don't know which way it went. So I always suggest that the first thing you do is take a picture of the belt and how it is looped, and then after that you have something to reference off of. Alrighty, y'all, so I will add this in the video. I'll probably try to edit it in there somewhere or something. But after you remove your hoses, you got your 2 smaller hoses and your hose that goes to your thermostat, you want to make sure you remove your pulley, your tensioner pulley. After, I mean, you can remove this before you remove the hoses, after, it doesn't matter, but you want to make sure you remove this before you remove the water pump, just to make it a little easier on yourself. It's not hard to take it off afterwards. If you didn't order the water pump with the thermostat, you probably want to take your thermostat off before you unmount and unbolt your water pump as well. So just a little food for thought there, guys. The one we ordered, it does come with the thermostat already installed, so we're just going to go ahead and leave this one on here. We're not going to remove it. But like I said, so first things you want to do after you remove your serpentine belt is your idler pulley and your hoses before you unbolt anything on the water pump. That's definitely the first things you want to do. Like I said, I will add it, or I will edit this into the video somewhere in there. And alrighty, y'all. Alrighty, so the water pump is off, as you can see. Now it's time for the cleaning. I'm going to go through, I'm going to scrape all the crud off of both sides where the gaskets go. I'm just using a plastic razor blade. I bought these on Amazon. I believe it was like $7-8 for a pack of like 200 plastic razor blades. This is just because you do not want to scuff up the surface. You don't want to scratch it, scuff it, because obviously that can cause leaks in the future. And so I'm going to clean it all down, get as much of the crud off as I can, and then I'll come back through with a Scotch-Brite, and I will go around everything, make sure it's clean, and then I will take a rag with, like I said, some rubbing alcohol or something and wipe it down, and then install the new seals and the new water pump and get her back to running. Alrighty, y'all. Alrighty, y'all. So I got both surfaces prepped. They're ready to go, ready for reinstall. But before we do anything, I just want to give y'all a little tip pointing this out. If you block both of these inlets, make sure there's not a lot of excess water flowing from them. And what you want to do is you want to grab your air compressor and you want to blow any excess debris or moisture or fluids that are trapped in these bolt holes. You want to make sure you blow all that out of there. By doing this, you're helping prevent a crack in the block, which can occur from buildup of steam, or also by removing the excess debris, you're eliminating the chance of cross-threading your bolts or breaking them in there. So just a little helpful tip before you reinstall everything, come through and take your air compressor and blow those 3 holes out on both sides and make sure they're dry, so that way you can torque them down to spec and you can avoid having any issues, like I said, which could occur, like a break and a crack in the block. So you want to avoid that. Just a little helpful tip before you reinstall everything. Alrighty, y'all, so we got the new water pump installed and we got the tensioner pulley reinstalled as well. About to start reconnecting all the hoses. Obviously you got your heater hoses over there in the back. You got the one for your radiator to your thermostat, then the one from the water pump to the radiator. Like I said, we got all the new hardware in. Everything is tightened down to 22 foot-pounds. That's the torque specs on this. So you want to start on, say, the bottom one here. Then you want to go to the top one, come to the middle one here on this side, and then come back over to the middle on this side, then the top here, and then the bottom. You want to do 15 pounds to start with, going all the way around, and then you're going to come back and tighten everything down to 22 pounds. Alrighty, y'all. Alrighty, y'all. So everything's back. Everything's put back. We're just going to top off all the fluid. We did lose quite a bit of fluid. Obviously, removing the water pump, you're going to lose some fluid. So we're going to top that up. And what you've seen here today, as far as the water pump, it's something that you can do on 4.8, 5.3s, 6.0s, and 6.2 liters LSs. It's all the same from 07 to 13. Tahoe's 14, and like this GMC Savanna 2014 as well. So this is, like I said, you can do this on 4.8s, 5.3s, 6.0s, 6.2s. It's all the same thing. As far as the water pump's concerned, like I said, the only thing that's a little different is the engine bay area, but I mean, it's all very similar concept at the end of the day. Like I said, hopefully you found this video helpful. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments, and God bless. Y'all have a great day.